Hey nerdies, it's Kathleenmms here, and I just got back from watching The Suicide Squad. Now, this movie has extremely mixed reviews, which is very understandable because they took a lot of liberties with some of these characters and changed things up a lot. But regardless, there are many things that I liked about this film, as well as many things that I disliked about this film. I hope that you guys keep an open mind and be sure to share your own opinions and comments in the section below. Let's get started. So the plot of this film is loosely based on a comic book of the same name, Suicide Squad, that is a great read, by the way. If you've never picked up a comic book in your life, I think this is a pretty good way to start because there's only a couple of volumes and the characters, the writing, the story is very interesting, so I definitely recommend that you pick this up. But anyways, the story is about a character named Amanda Waller assembling a task force of villains in order to, as she puts it, fight fire with fire. She uses the extraordinary abilities of these villains in order to defeat bigger and badder villain. So there are several characters that are a part of this task force, but only few are truly spotlighted. Now, one character that is a favorite of mine in the comic is Diablo, and he is this incredible character with a great past and has this moral tension with the idea of using his powers, and they kind of get into that in the film, but I don't want to spoil too much of it. And then we have, of course, Harley Quinn, who is without a doubt the best character in this film. Now, Margot Robbie did a terrific job at portraying this character, and if you see this film for nothing else, be sure to see this film just for Margot Robbie's depiction of Harley Quinn. Now, as a huge Harley Quinn fan, I was so excited to see a depiction of her on screen, and I was really hoping that this wouldn't disappoint, and it definitely didn't disappoint. You know, I've been a fan of Harley Quinn since her original appearance in Batman the Animated Series when I was a child, and she has just skyrocketed to popularity, and everyone loves Harley Quinn, so it's great to see her in the mainstream now with this film. Margot Robbie did a terrific job at depicting the insane, sexy, and badass aspects of Harley Quinn's character. Harley Quinn is a tough chick, but she's incredibly unstable, and Margot Robbie was able to capture these complexities in such a terrific way. You could tell that she really did do her research. She really looked into the source material and tried to depict this character in a way that would appease the fans, and she did a terrific job. I loved her accent. It just slipped in every once in a while, and she was very comedic and funny. She was a great comedic relief source of the film with her just bizarre and insane comments. Then we have Deadshot, who is basically the main character of this film, and I was a little bit nervous about Will Smith playing this character because he often plays the same type of characters in every action film, but I think he did a pretty good job with it. In the comic book, Deadshot is a pretty messed up character. He's not a good guy, but you can tell that he at least has a person that he cares about, his daughter, and that gives him like a human side, and I think Will Smith was able to play with that and able to depict his human side as well as his despicable and violent side as well. Although this film really did, at the end of the day, try to depict these villains as having good deep down, and I guess that's okay. It's great for a film, but I would argue that's not necessarily the case in the comics. I feel like in the comics, the entire time I just thought, wow, these are really despicable people. So, but you know, it makes a good, heartwarming story, and I didn't mind it too much. However, there's one character that is my biggest criticism, and this character you will either love or hate. I know that I'll have some people in the comment section saying that they absolutely love this character, but I did not like him, and that is Jared Leto's Joker. From the first time I saw his tattoos and his look in a poster reveal, many months, I think many years ago, I was just not pleased with the look, and I was hoping that Jared Leto would rise above that, but the producers really did want to depict Joker in this film as a gangster. They surround him with gangster type characters. They have him in clubs the majority of the time, drinking and just doing gangster-like things, and I didn't feel like it really fit the Joker, but I understand that the Joker is always reinvented every couple of years, so I understand that they wanted to make his character more relatable to a contemporary audience, and that they didn't want to try to like just copy Heath Ledger's Joker, so I kind of understand that, but I really didn't appreciate the direction they took with his character. I found it incredibly cringy. I just didn't relate to it at all, and I didn't enjoy it. If you enjoyed his Joker, let me know. I want to know why. I just couldn't relate to him, especially because of that freaking grill that he had in his mouth. It just really, really bothered me. Now, I think Jared Leto did try really hard with this part, but the costuming, the setting, it really tried to set him up as this gangster type character, and it was not something that I could see him as. They really did change a lot of his character in this film. Another thing is the relationship between Harley Quinn and Joker. They changed this a lot, and I actually liked the way they changed this. So originally, Harley Quinn and Joker's relationship was abusive. Joker never appreciated Harley and treated her terribly. He never cared about her, only used her. And yet in this film, their relationship is quite equal. He fights for her, he tries to rescue her, and you could see that they both equally care for each other in a very passionate and mad way, and I actually really appreciated it. They had a lot of chemistry and passion, and I thought it worked really well, and I didn't mind the change. I think sometimes a little bit of a change is okay when it comes to comic book movies, because like I said, comic book characters, they tend to change several times over throughout the years to relate to contemporary audiences, and it was just nice to see Harley Quinn being treated well for a change. I also think that the pacing of this film was really well done. So far, my only big criticism of this film is their depiction of the Joker, but I thought that the pacing was done really well. They had so many characters to introduce and so many backstories to go into, but thankfully they didn't make this an origin story. We've seen so many origin stories in superhero films, and I'm getting kind of sick of it. It's time to move on, it's time to follow a different formula. That's kind of why I like that this specific movie decided to stop following some of these traditional comic book movie formulas and decided to mix it up. They took a lot of risks, and because of that, some people hate it, some people love it, and like I said, there's things that I hated about it because of the risks they took, but I really appreciate that they took these risks because it's time to stop following a certain formula. So like I said, they didn't go too far into the origin stories. They just quickly covered the main characters. The only origin story that I would have enjoyed seeing more of was Harley Quinn, but they just would not have had time to really go into that. And it's a breath of fresh air compared to Batman vs. Superman, because that movie took way too long with specific details that they could have just cut out. And this film doesn't waste any time with details. It gets its message across, it lets us know what the objective is, and gets to the action. So getting to see each of these characters use their powers, Harley Quinn just moving in a very acrobatic and challenging way, as well as Deadshot just kicking ass with his unforgettable perfect aim, was really interesting to see. And the villain, I can't go into who the villain is because that would spoil everything, but the villain is such a challenge for these characters that it felt like they really had something to go up against, and it really created a lot of tension to the plot. So, was it a perfect movie? No, it definitely wasn't a perfect movie, but I think personally that it was way better done than Batman vs. Superman, and I enjoyed the majority of this film. I do have a lot of complaints about it. There were some cringy moments near the end. I had a hard time kind of deciphering some of these characters' motivations. I didn't think that their motivations made much sense sometimes, but I was easily able to overlook that. So my final verdict is that I definitely think that this movie is worth seeing. If you don't see it for anything else, see it for Margot Robbie's depiction of Harley Quinn. She does a fantastic job, and if you are a Harley Quinn fan, you will absolutely love it. And I had a great time, and I'm really glad that I saw it despite some of its obvious flaws. So I would like to hear your opinions in the comment section. Do you completely disagree with me? Feel free to. I am totally open to your opinions, and don't get mad if my opinions differ from yours, because that's what this is, opinions. So I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I should go.
Number 2 on my list is Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series. Batman the Animated Series was one of my favorite shows as a kid. Harley Quinn is such a loved character that she was introduced into the comics shortly after Batman the Animated Series. Harley's amazing because she's really the ideal girlfriend.